But it's interesting about fame in our society, which is when people see that you are famous, they think you are successful. And they think that fame is making you happy.
One of the topics that you've talked about is the healing the Hollywood heart, why you want to be rich and famous and what to do about it. So this was a course or a group that you had?
It started out as a seminar, and then it was wildly successful for a lot of people because Hollywood is hard. And there were people who wanted to get into it, people who wanted to get up through it, and other people who wanted to get out of it. So I had a lot of clientele to be able to be in there. It was a wonderful experience, yeah.
Yeah, so many questions. First off, what did you see was the main reason that people wanted to be rich and famous? What was behind that?
Usually it's the healing of your core wound. You wouldn't articulate it that way, but you come to Hollywood for some reason. You know, like you're saying, the young girl who was a fish out of water and went to college. So that's her becoming. That's the dilemma that she's got to break through, to grow up. So everybody's got their breakthrough thing to grow up. Everybody has a brick wall that they've got in front of them. Even not in Hollywood, you know, every place else. And so that's what they're up against. And that's what's interesting about being a human being. You know, that's the thing that you want to mature yourself up through.
Why do you think people choose Hollywood, though? Of all places, they could want to go to Silicon Valley. They
do.
Yeah, and that's its own beast there.
Right.
There's all sorts of challenges with that and
Right.
rewards.
Mm-hmm.
But why Hollywood? Why do you think it draws certain types of people?
Well, a lot, as I was telling you about the subgroup of men that I would have around 35 years old, and that was looking for dad. And there's, you know, it's a very clear authority state in Hollywood. And, you know, if you can only get through, if only you can break through, and it's hard, it's really hard. Sports, hard, you know, it's just so hard. And that's what's interesting about it. You know, if it wasn't hard, then how would you know that you triumphed?
Have you ever talked anyone out of wanting to be rich and famous, or no? It was never. It was never where you don't really want that. It was just exploring.
I would always say if you can. There's a bumper sticker called "Just Say No to Hollywood," you know, and in the copy of my brochure, I said, if you can do that, say no, and go. You know, turn your U-Haul around and go back home. And get a job at the buzzsaw department of Sears. Don't, you know, if you can say no, say no. But if you can't, if it's burning in you, if you must, if you know that you've got to, well, that's wonderful. That's what you want in your life, to be able to have that kind of, you know, gratitude, that passion, that desire to break through. See what I'm saying? It's always a becoming story.
And then there are those, I'm sure, that maybe regretted. I don't know if you could regret the rich part, maybe they had, but the famous part, I'm sure there's so many things that go along with that. We don't realize it, but...
You don't want fame. But it's interesting about fame in our society, which is when people see that you are famous, they think you are successful. And they think that fame is making you happy. None of that is true. With fame, what you get sometimes is leverage, where you're able to do more projects, or or be able to have access more so. But that's it. That's what fame is. It's quite difficult actually for people.
Why? Why is that?
Because it's a persona beside themselves. It doesn't have anything to do with your humanness, and like eating a hot dog with your mouth open and somebody taking a picture of you. It's not personal to you, and it can be really horrendous.
And then last but not least, those that didn't achieve what they wanted, and either out of financial reasons or just they were just bitter toward Hollywood, wanted to leave. I've had it. This is a town of narcissists. I can't be here anymore, whether that's true or not. Did you see those people that had it and they were throwing their hat in the ring? And
Well, sure, it's heartbreaking, and some, it's triumphed for them when they finally can't. They're done. It's kind of like done as a disease, as a thing that you're caught into. A lot of times, it's very difficult to give up something that you can't complete. Just plain that. It's like you'd like to couldn't I just finish on a high note, and then, then go. So it's there's always evolution for everybody, and if evolution can sometimes mean that you leave, walk away, or, but it's interesting because I would get a lot of people who were lawyers and wanted to leave lawyering, and come into Hollywood, as screenwriters, because they hate lawyering, or doctors, though I have a lot of doctors. And then with Sopranos, the mafia guy used my book, as if Hollywood is easier than the mafia, which I don't think.
Well, there's favors that need to be done, and you don't play in this playground without me saying so. That kind of attitude. So I'm sure there's some parallels. But did you see those that, quote, gave up and then they actually had success?
Always. The thing when I think John Lithgow, he had it. His heart was breaking. He had great success, but it wasn't happening anymore. And that's it. He's leaving. And as he's going out of town, they were trying to locate him for the World According to Garp.
Oh,
and they brought him back in, and he's been here since and been very successful. And it's not one person, it's constantly. And in life, as you know, you just don't give up. You just keep going, and something will occur for you. Something will occur. And that's for everybody. So, it happens all the time.
Do you think that's luck or an energy shift?
A lot of times it's an energy shift. Just when you let go, just as I was saying before, the idea of we think we know how to get the thing. We don't know how to get the thing. Because if we knew how to get the thing, we'd have it. We don't have it. Therefore, we know what the thing is. We know we want it. We have to let all the aspects come into place that we don't know about to get the thing gotten. And that is there, where there's the element of like when you give it up, like, I've had it, I'm not going to do this anymore. Then it turns around on you. And that happens like in relationships with people. It's like when say a woman is chasing after a man, and he's not, he's not interested at all until she stops, turns around, goes in the other direction, and he'll go, right after her. So there is element of just the energy. There's all kinds of mystical reasons why anything happens or doesn't happen.